Hi, I am Anna Hinkenschmidt, and I am here to give you some tips on how to have a more efficient writing session. So, I have found that these tips work for you whether you're a plotzer or a pantser. So, whether you like to plan your novels from beginning to end or just see where the spirit moves, I have found that these tools work for just about everyone. I think writer's block or just sitting down and not being able to get the words out are some of the hardest parts about being a writer. And just having this little bit of foresight and this ability to have a little pre-planning session before you start writing really helps the words to flow. It's nothing fancy or magical, but these tools work. So let's get right into it. So first of all, I start every writing session with just like a 5 to 10 minute planning session. So even if you're a pantser, you might just want to take a minute to focus yourself before you start writing. Of course, the first thing I write down is the setting. Are you in a dark and spooky forest? Are you on a road trip? Are you on a mysterious trail? The setting could be absolutely anything from a high school gymnasium to your bedroom. Next is pretty simple, POV. Whose character's head are you going to be telling this story from? Now, this applies whether you're writing first person or third person. Heck, even if you're writing from an omniscient point of view, that's still a point of view. And I just feel like it helps to shape your character, just coming back and realizing and thinking about whose point of view this part of the story is told from. Okay, next up, what is your character's goal for this scene or chapter? Is it to stop and get gas so that they continue on their great adventure? Is it to fight off a monster so that they don't die? Think about what they need at that exact moment. Next thing up is character's motivation. So this could be the same as the goal, but it's often different. For instance, perhaps they're stopping to get gas and because their goal is to fill up their tank, but maybe their motivation is that they're about to do a cross-country road trip in order to reunite with their lost love. Or perhaps they kill a monster in this scene, but their greater motivation is to bring down the overarching force of evil that is threatening the world. The next thing I jot down before I get started is what are the internal conflicts? These are the things like fear, jealousy, secrets that your character might know about other characters in this scene. Things that kind of rise the anxiety level up of the overarching conflicts. Then we have the external conflicts. Now, I love to throw a lot of chaos into my characters' lives. They are quite tortured individuals, but these are things like you pull up to the gas station, but they're all out of gas. Now what are you going to do? Or perhaps the monster has injured your arm and now you're going to have to continue saving the world with an injured arm. All of the things that could possibly throw at your character. This is a nice time to jot those ideas down so that when you start writing, they're right at your disposal. The next thing I like to consider is the scene's action. Okay, you're probably thinking to yourself, what are you talking action? We already have a car possibly running out of gas. There's a monster who has just injured my character. Like, what else could possibly be going on as the action? However, the actions are not just those big external conflicts. It's like, what is your character doing to react? People do not want to read about a character who's sitting back and having everything happen to them. People are interested in reading about characters who take action in their situation. So what happens? They get to the gas station, there is no gas. What is their next step? How are they acting to propel themselves forward and to get themselves out of the conflict? Next, we have the purpose, plot point, and what needs to happen. Okay, so this is actually quite important because sometimes we get really excited and we're writing scenes, but we're not thinking about the bigger picture. So every time you write a scene, it needs to be moving your whole book forward. Your whole plot needs to be moving towards its end goal. And even if you're a pantser, you probably have some idea of where your story is going, but you don't want to finish your book and go back and read all of these scenes where nothing has really moved the plot forward. Sure, it might have been a really exciting story about that monster, but unless that monster had a greater purpose and a plot point that moved your whole story forward, probably just gonna have to cut it. The last thing I consider is there a cliffhanger? Now, not every chapter will have a cliffhanger, but if you're going to end on one, this is a great place to consider, how will you end that chapter to propel your reader to keep reading? All right, I think taking this 5 or 10 minutes before you start your writing session is going to feel very motivating to you because you won't sit down and get stuck with writer's block because you know where the scene is going. And you know what? Writing a novel is just writing one scene at a time. So I hope this was helpful for you to propel you forward to your next step.